There is a habit that millions of people repeat every morning. It feels harmless. It feels normal. It takes only a few minutes, and yet this one habit can quietly shape how your entire day unfolds. Your energy, your focus, your mood. Even the small financial decisions you make, most people never notice it happening, because it does not look dramatic. There is no obvious mistake, no alarm bell, just a small moment that repeats every morning. Imagine this: your alarm goes off. You reach for your phone just to turn it off. But the screen lights up. You see a notification, maybe a message, maybe a short video, maybe a post someone shared late at night. You tap it. Just one quick look, then another video appears, then another. 5 minutes pass, then 10. Suddenly 20 minutes are gone. You are still in bed. And the strange part is not only the lost time, the strange part is what happens next. The rest of the day feels slightly different, harder to focus, harder to start important tasks, harder to feel motivated. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet drop in clarity. So, here's an interesting question. What if the first few minutes of your morning are quietly training your brain for the rest of the day? Not intentionally, but automatically. And what if this habit is not only affecting your productivity, but also your confidence, your spending, and the pace of your life over time? Morning is a unique moment for the human brain. After several hours of sleep, your mind resets. Mental fatigue is lower. Your attention system is refreshed. Your thinking is clearer than it will be later in the day. Think of your mind like a quiet room early in the morning. Whatever enters that room first tends to shape the atmosphere. If the first things you experience are calm and intentional, your mind often stays in that state. But if the first things entering your mind are fast, chaotic, and constantly changing, your brain adapts to that environment too. Your brain simply learns the rhythm of the information it receives. Fast information creates fast thinking. Constant novelty creates restless attention. And this is where modern digital habits become important. Because the way many people start their mornings today is very different from how mornings used to begin. Instead of quiet thinking, many mornings begin with an endless stream of content. Messages, videos, comments, news, updates, information arriving faster than the brain can fully process. At first it feels entertaining, but the brain is quietly adjusting to the speed of that stimulation. Short-form content has changed the rhythm of information. Videos last only a few seconds. Images appear instantly. Every swipe reveals something completely new. Your brain never knows what will appear next, and that unpredictability keeps attention engaged. Your brain responds with tiny bursts of curiosity. Small sparks of stimulation. Nothing about this is inherently bad. The issue is timing. When your brain receives rapid stimulation early in the day, something subtle happens. Your attention system calibrates itself to that speed. Fast. Constant, ever-changing. Now imagine what happens next. After scrolling, you move to a normal activity. Reading, something carefully, studying. Writing, planning your work, solving a problem. These activities move slowly. They require patience. They reward effort over time rather than instantly. But your brain has already warmed up for something very different. So you begin working. And after a few minutes, a quiet restlessness appears. You check your phone again, just quickly. Then you return to work. Then your mind drifts again. This pattern is extremely common. Not because people are lazy, not because people lack discipline. Your brain is simply adapting to the environment it experienced first. When the day begins with constant novelty, deep focus becomes harder to enter, and that small habit can quietly shape how your attention behaves for the rest of the day. Here is something many people notice but rarely understand. After scrolling for a while, normal tasks suddenly feel heavier. You sit down to work. Maybe you want to read something important, or write a report, or focus on a project. But your brain starts looking for something easier, something faster. You open another tab, you check your phone again. Just for a second. A quick look. But those seconds add up. This is one of the quiet side effects of constant stimulation. Short content trains the brain to expect frequent rewards, something new every few seconds. But meaningful progress rarely works that way. Learning a skill takes time. Building a project takes patience. Improving your financial life takes consistency. These things move slowly, and when the brain has already warmed up on rapid entertainment, slower progress can feel uncomfortable. Not because the work is bad, but because the brain is now used to a faster rhythm. That is why one page of a book can feel difficult, while 10 more minutes on your phone can feel effortless. Let us look at a very familiar example. Someone decides they want to learn a new skill, maybe coding, maybe graphic design, maybe a new language. They even buy a course. They feel motivated. They wake up early, but the morning begins with a quick scroll, just 10 minutes, then 20. By the time they open the course video, the brain already wants something easier, so they delay it. Maybe later today, but later arrives when energy is lower, work is busier. The lesson moves to tomorrow, and tomorrow begins the same way. This is how many goals slowly disappear. Not through failure, but through tiny delays repeated over time. And this is important. A distracted morning does not always make you lose a day. Sometimes it makes you lose momentum. And momentum is often what separates intention from real change. There is another subtle effect that happens during the morning scroll. Comparison. Human beings naturally compare. It is part of how we understand our place in the world. But social media creates a very unusual environment for comparison, because what we see there are mostly highlights. Moments that look exciting. Moments that look successful. Moments that look impressive. You might see someone traveling across Europe, someone celebrating a promotion, someone sharing a perfect home office setup, someone showing their new productivity routine, someone posting a before and after transformation. None of these things are wrong, but when many of them appear together, the brain quietly starts telling a story. Everyone else seems to be moving forward. Maybe I am behind. That thought is usually subtle. You might not even notice it clearly, but it can slightly change your emotional state. Your motivation drops a little. Your confidence drops a little. Your day begins with a small feeling of inadequacy before anything in your own life has actually gone wrong. And that matters. Because people do not always spend money when they need something. Often they spend money when they want to feel different, more organized, more attractive, more successful, more in control. Now, let us connect this to something many people do not expect. Money. Because the same environment that triggers comparison can also influence consumption. During a typical scroll, you might see things like a productivity gadget, a stylish jacket, a beautifully organized workspace, a new laptop, a travel vlog, a morning routine with expensive tools and perfect lighting. These images create a picture of a life that looks appealing. Psychologists sometimes call this aspirational imagery. When the brain sees an attractive lifestyle, it begins linking certain products to that feeling. And that is where small financial decisions begin to shift. Maybe you buy something you did not plan to buy. Maybe you subscribe to an app you rarely use. Maybe you upgrade something that still works perfectly fine. Maybe you order takeout at lunch because the day already feels off and a small treat feels easier than making a good decision. Each decision feels small. But financial habits rarely change through one dramatic purchase. They change through dozens of tiny impulses. Coffee here. Online order there. A subscription you forget to cancel. A same-day delivery purchase you barely remember a week later. And many of those impulses begin in the same place. A few minutes of scrolling early in the morning. Sometimes the cost is not the thing you buy. Sometimes the cost is the decision you never make. The page you never read, the skill you never practice. The side project you keep postponing. That is the hidden financial cost of a distracted morning. It is not only what leaves your bank account, it is what never enters your life. The better habit, the finished project, the stronger skill, the calmer mind. That is what makes this topic bigger than social media. It is really about direction. Social media is only one piece of the story. There are other common morning habits that quietly drain attention. For example, starting the day with notifications, messages, emails, alerts. Each one pulls your attention in a different direction. Instead of beginning with your priorities, your mind reacts to other people's requests. Another common habit is starting the day with negative news. News often highlights conflict and urgency. Beginning your morning with those topics can create subtle stress before your day even begins. There is also the habit of jumping straight into activity with no clear direction. You check email, then messages, then a random task. The day feels busy, but by evening, nothing meaningful has moved forward. That is one of the strangest traps of adult life. You can feel busy all day and still feel quietly disappointed at night. Not because you did nothing, but because your attention was spent, not invested. Here is the interesting part. Morning scrolling rarely ruins a day in an obvious way. It works more like a domino effect. A small push early in the day slowly changes everything that follows. Imagine 2 different mornings. In the first morning, someone wakes up and scrolls for 30 minutes. Nothing dramatic happens. But when work begins, their attention feels scattered. They switch tasks more often. They check their phone repeatedly. They delay the hardest task. By the afternoon, several important things remain unfinished. Now imagine a different morning. Someone wakes up. They do not open social media yet. They drink water. They take a few quiet minutes. They decide what matters most today. Then they start that task first. By the time the afternoon arrives, meaningful progress has already happened. The difference between these 2 days is not talent, not intelligence, just the direction of attention in the first hour. Small habits rarely look powerful in the moment, but repeated hundreds of times they shape entire years. Many productive people eventually notice this pattern. That is why they protect their mornings carefully, not perfectly, not every day, but intentionally. Some people stretch, some write down priorities, some read a few pages of a book, some simply sit quietly with their thoughts, some go for a short walk. Even 5 minutes outside can reset the tone of the day. The routine itself is not the important part. The important part is who controls the direction of the morning. Because the moment you open endless information streams, your brain starts reacting instead of choosing. And reactive days rarely create meaningful progress. This is not about becoming perfect. It is not about never using social media. It is about noticing what your mornings are teaching your mind. If the first hour of your day is always fast, reactive, and distracting, your brain learns that this is how life works. But if the first hour is calmer, clearer, and more intentional, your mind begins to expect something different from the day. So here's a simple experiment you can try. Tomorrow morning, delay social media for 30 minutes. Just 30. No scrolling, no endless feeds. Begin the day slowly. Drink some water, stand up, open the curtains, let your mind arrive before the world does. Then think about 3 things that truly matter today. Start one of them, not all 3, just one. You might notice something surprising. Your mind feels clearer. Your attention lasts longer. The day feels more intentional. And even if the rest of the day is imperfect, you have already done something important. You began with choice instead of reaction. Because success rarely begins with a huge decision. It usually begins with small patterns repeated quietly over time. And one of the most powerful patterns in your life might be something as simple as what you do in the first minutes after waking up. Your morning is not just the beginning of your schedule. It is the beginning of your mental direction. And over time, direction matters more than mood. Direction matters more than motivation. Direction matters more than one perfect day. So the real question is not whether social media is good or bad. The real question is this: who gets the first hour of your mind? You or the feed?